What's up, guys? Back again to do a quick review of the Maple Leaf Firearms impulse porting, which you see here. I got this done, several months ago, but I've put enough rounds through it to, I feel, give a pretty good opinion of it and kind of give you my overview of what I think about it. So to go over some of the pros of it, I do think that it gives you a noticeable difference in recoil control. You get a lot less muzzle flip, and it's different from like the comps, like the Ramjet, in that it doesn't really take recoil away quite as much, but it definitely reduces the muzzle rise. So you can see there, the impulse porting specifically has a series of ports on both sides. And one of the things that I really liked about this is the cuts in the slide itself kind of match the Glock C-Series porting. So obviously that's not offered in a Gen 5. And I saw this, there was one company, I think maybe Southwest Precision, that did basically a copycat of the Glock C ports. And then you had Maple Leaf, which had just released this impulse porting when I was shopping. So ended up going with the Maple Leaf, and like I said, pretty pleased with it. As far as the machine work, everything looked really good. Excuse me. Everything looked really good with it. No complaints, nothing weird, no chatter marks or anything. So overall, I'm very pleased with that. As far as working with the company, they had a really good turnaround time. The process was smooth and pretty intuitive, so I appreciated that. As far as the coating, I selected it for it to be nitrided. The coating has held up really well. It's really dirty right now, but you could take my word for it. It has held up really well. Honestly, probably a little bit better than standard Gen 5 coating. This is my primary dry fire pistol currently, so since I've had this, I have a little over 1,000 rounds through it, plus a bunch of dry firing. Everything's holding up. So whoever does their nitriding, they're doing a great job. So kudos to that. I guess I'll rewind a little bit and kind of give you my overall stats on it, I guess, if you will. So I bought this Glock 47 brand new with the intent of porting it. So it only had like 50 rounds on it before I sent it off to get ported. Once I got it back, my intent was to kind of like push the system with the ports and just see how it would run. So what I did with it was I put 1,000 rounds through it, not in one session, but in probably like 4 or 5 sessions. Put 1,000 rounds through it without cleaning it at all. It's been cleaned since then, but I just wanted to kind of push it to its limits and see if the porting would affect anything as far as reliability went. So I'm pleased to report that it did not seriously affect reliability. In fact, everything went pretty well. The only things that were different from stock were I had a few times that the slide wouldn't lock back on the follower, so on an empty magazine. Had a few instances of that with regular pressure ammo, but I really honestly don't use much regular pressure ammo. Typically I'm running like NATO spec stuff, so with the NATO spec 124 grain, no issues whatsoever, so 100% reliable, despite being super dirty. Also in the pros for this is I like how like the slide cuts are pretty minimal. And like for me personally, I was like, okay, I want ported sometimes, but I don't want some gaping hole whenever I'm not trying to shoot ported. So what I did with this is, obviously this is the barrel that it came with from the factory, and I had that one ported. Excuse me. But I also picked up a used Gen 5 barrel that was just like a takeoff, probably had less than 50 rounds from the original owner. And then I swapped that in here now too. So it's nice that I can have either the ported barrel or swap in a stock barrel that I got for like $60 or $70 if I want to shoot without the ports being there. So if you're like a competition shooter trying to meet the rules of carry optics or something similar, or you're just shooting in an instance where you don't want it to be super loud, that's an option. As far as the cons of the system, these are kind of going to be universal cons for anything that's ported. It is going to be a little dirty, or really dirty. So in the 1,000 rounds, like I said, I was trying to push it and test it. I didn't clean it at all for 1,000 rounds, and the internals of the slide and everything was just super caked up and super dirty. So I was kind of expecting that, but it is something that you're gonna have to contend with. And if you're kind of a clean freak with your Glocks or your handguns in general, you might not like that too much. Another thing, and again, this is kind of a universal con of ported pistols, but it is loud. It's significantly louder than just a standard barrel, so it's something to keep in mind. If you're shooting indoors especially, I would say probably double up on ear pro if you're gonna shoot a system like this. But that's nothing unique to the Maple Leaf. Overall, I think it's a solid product. It was a good price, good experience from the company, good turnaround. They beat their lead times. Everything was good. So I definitely would recommend if you're looking for ported Glock. I don't have a whole lot to compare it to with other ported Glocks, but compared to, like, say, a Radian Ramjet or Afterburner, Ramjet and Afterburner, or non-ported, you definitely feel a difference with it. So definitely a good system, and seems to be a good company to work with. If you have any questions or anything, be sure to leave them in the comments. Bye.